It was a stormy night, the kind of night that makes the earth smell of wet dust and secrets. In a small hospital on the edge of Lagos, a young woman named Alina screamed through her last push and brought a baby girl into the world. The cries filled the tiny room, fierce, alive, innocent. But Alina's heart wasn't peaceful. She had no family, no husband, and no home. The man who had promised to marry her had disappeared when he found out she was pregnant. Working as a house help for the Cole family was all she knew, the only safety she had. When she looked down at the baby, she whispered,
"My little one, I have nothing to give you, not even a future."
2 days later, she made the hardest decision of her life. She carried the baby to the home where she had worked for 5 years, Mr. and Mrs. Cole's house, and with tears in her eyes, handed the child over.
"Please take care of her. I can't do it alone."
"I promise, I will keep her safe."
"Have my word." And just like that, Alina disappeared into the night, leaving behind a daughter, a prayer, and a secret. The Coles named the baby Sharon. They raised her like their own daughter, fed her, clothed her, and loved her with the same warmth they gave to their son, Brian, who was 8 years older. But when the neighborhood asked where the child came from, they gave one simple answer: "She's our daughter, Brian's little sister." They believed it was kinder that way. Years passed, and the truth faded into the walls of the Cole family home. Sharon grew up thinking Brian was her big brother, her protector, her hero, her everything. When their parents died in a car accident, Brian was 18, Sharon only 10. The world changed again. The house fell silent, the laughter gone. But Brian stepped up, carrying a weight too heavy for his young shoulders. He kept the family's small business alive, worked late nights, paid school fees, and did everything to make sure Sharon never felt the hole their parents left behind. To him, she wasn't just his sister. She was his reason to keep going. Years turned into decades. Brian became a successful businessman, focused, responsible, yet quietly lonely. Sharon blossomed into a beautiful woman, kind, curious, and full of dreams. When Sharon turned 22, Brian bought her a car, a small silver one, so she could travel to her teaching job. He also hired a driver to keep her safe, a gentle, humble man named John. At first, John and Sharon were just friends. He made her laugh on long drives and listened when she talked about her late parents, the ones she thought she shared with Brian. Over time, friendship turned into something deeper, something they tried to hide. And one night, under the soft hum of rain and quiet music from the car radio, they crossed a line neither of them could erase. They fell into each other's arms, innocent love wrapped in warmth and confusion. For months, they kept it secret. But love has a way of revealing itself. Meanwhile, Brian had started to feel something he didn't understand. Every time Sharon smiled, something stirred in him, a feeling that frightened him. He tried to bury it, telling himself, "She's your sister, Brian. Stop it." But one day, while cleaning out his late parents' drawers, he found an old brown envelope, filled with letters from Alina, their former house help. His hands trembled as he read, "Please, take care of my daughter. Her name is Sharon. I can't raise her. Tell her she's yours if that keeps her safe." The words hit Brian like lightning. Sharon wasn't his sister. She was the daughter of their house help, the baby his parents had taken in and raised as their own. For hours, Brian sat alone, the truth echoing in his mind. All the feelings he had buried for years suddenly made sense. It wasn't wrong anymore. It wasn't forbidden. He could finally admit it. He was in love with her. But when Brian was ready to confess, life struck again. He found out Sharon was seeing someone, her driver, John. He kept silent, trying to be supportive, though it tore him apart inside. But fate intervened again, in the cruelest way. One evening, Sharon came home in tears. John had cheated on her, a one-night mistake with another woman. He confessed it, begging her forgiveness. Sharon's heart shattered. She ended things immediately. Brian, seeing her broken, couldn't stand the silence anymore. That night, he told her everything.
"You are not my sister. You are the daughter of our former house help, Alina.
Woman who worked for us. She gave birth to you, then left you with them. You're not my blood." Sharon sat frozen, her heart racing. Then Brian whispered the truth that had been buried in his soul for years. "I love you, Sharon. I've tried to fight it, but I can't anymore." Tears filled her eyes. It was too much, too sudden. But deep inside, something in her heart stirred too. After days of silence and reflection, she came back to him.
Let's try. Let's see where this goes.
For the first time, Sharon felt truly seen. Brian treated her with care, not as a sister, not as someone fragile, but as the woman she had become. Their love grew slowly, a bond built on honesty and understanding. But happiness has a way of testing people. Weeks later, Sharon began to feel ill. She went to the hospital and returned with news that made her knees weak. She was pregnant, and the child wasn't Brian's. It was John's. That night, she sat across from Brian, her voice trembling. "Brian."
It's John's baby, not yours.
Silence filled the room. Then Brian took her hands and said the words she didn't expect.
We'll face this together, but you don't have to be ashamed.
He stood by her, not as a lover now, but as the same protector he had always been. John returned weeks later, humble and full of regret. He had realized what he lost and wanted to make things right. He knelt before Sharon and Brian and apologized sincerely. "I was foolish," John said. "But I love her, and I'll be a father to our child." After many tears, Sharon forgave him. Brian, too, gave his blessing, even though it broke him to do so. John and Sharon married in a quiet ceremony under the old mango tree where Sharon used to play as a child. When their baby boy was born, they named him Emeka, meaning, "do well." And he did. He brought peace back into their home. Years later, Sharon and John built a beautiful life together. John became a better man, a devoted husband, a proud father, and a constant friend. Their love, once broken, grew stronger through forgiveness. As for Brian, he found love too. He met Ada, a kind-hearted woman who reminded him that love doesn't always arrive where you expect it, but it always arrives when you're ready. The pain of his past shaped him into a gentle man who finally knew peace. Sometimes, he'd visit Sharon's family. Little Emeka would run into his arms shouting, "Uncle Brian." And when Sharon looked at him across the garden, their eyes spoke a silent truth. Love doesn't always end where it begins, but it always teaches you who you are.